We go.
Good afternoon or good evening, everyone, or however you may be checking us out today. We want to say thank you for coming to hang out with the third show as always. I am accompanied by my brother Shannon and my brother Smitty. And today we have our special guest, Ravante Robinson, who is a constant advocate for the city of Vacaville. And he has been vocal from, well, I met you the first time, what, 3 years ago, 4 years ago?
2018, I believe, or 2017.
2017, when he was running for city council in Vacaville. And I told him then, great head on the shoulder, smart dude, very controversial when it comes to issues in Vacaville. I told him,
Hold on, man. Hold on. Welcome to the show.
We ain't hold on, wait, we ain't diving in yet. I'm just saying, just hold on. Could you just bear with me with the intro?
I cannot hold on this.
I'm
about
Go
to
ahead.
bogart the intro.
Go, please. Evidently, you know better.
You know me in words. Words paint a picture. Some words bring negative connotation. Controversial is not what Mr. Robinson is. Outspoken and necessary trouble. And necessary trouble is what he is.
That's what I'm saying. You didn't let me finish my intro. You didn't let me finish my intro. Just because you don't like the C word doesn't mean I was going down the wrong path.
C word, man, C word.
But it is.
Before you go any further,
Go ahead, Shannon. Go ahead. You know what? Never mind. I had a whole thing for you, Ravante. It was going to be a nice little, and then to prove my point for a conversation that we had. And I'm glad, I was going to actually say, I'm glad you chose a path. But go ahead. No, Shannon, you go ahead.
No,
hold on. What I was saying.
I do want to hear
it. I'm sorry, what did you say?
I do want to hear it.
You do want to hear it? So can I, thank you.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Jesus. Go, I'm the one who has the most history with her.
Go ahead.
I know the man mama.
So that don't mean nothing.
Jesus.
The man is necessary trouble.
Anyway, it was a conversation that he and I had that now you guys have completely ruined the whole intro that I had planned.
We enhanced it.
It was a conversation that he and I had, and I said to him, he needs to either pick to be a politician or an advocate. That he can't be both. And I'm saying that I'm glad he chose to be an advocate because the way his voice is and the message that he brings is important. And for everything that we do, we need somebody like Ravante who's out there on the front lines doing his thing and making sure that, yes, he's not necessarily controversial, but the things that he does say, even though we're going to touch into some of that today, it may not be in the right direction all the time, but he is making sure that certain conversations are being had when others wouldn't. And for nothing else, that in itself is important. If you can make people start talking about things, you're doing something right. So there you go. Ravante Robinson. Y'all can
welcome, good bruh.
Whatever, man.
Welcome.
Yeah.
I appreciate all of y'all. Thank you for the love.
And let me say, at the last city council meeting, I listened to you, and I'm glad that you spoke facts. Best believe you spoke straight facts to them. And as my brothers know, Ravante, maybe you can be that voice because all three of us are in an older generation. Maybe you can be that voice. Yeah, I'm looking at you, brother Troy. Yeah.
Okay.
You're used to it, but maybe you can be that voice for our youth to try and, I guess what we're looking for and what our whole show we would like it to be about is coming up with solutions. You see the way everything is transforming in our city. It's a ticking time bomb. City council can only do so much. we have people in the community that are protesting. We have our police force, which we know is out of control. We need solutions. We need somebody to be that even person and even kill to drive that solution. But we also need to know what our protesters want. We hear them every single Sunday. We need to know exactly what it is that they want. And with
Hey,
that
so check
being
this
said,
out. Look here. Hey, Shannon, let's get to Mr. Man.
Shannon went on a little bit of a
Hey,
soapbox. I'm gonna go ahead and put that out there. He got kind
Mr.
of
Robinson.
emotional.
Mr. Robinson,
How you doing, Ravante?
what put you in the ring? What got you motivated to speak up and say something? And talk to us, man. How'd you get up in this game?
So it really started with Bernie Sanders. He was saying all those things that you think, but you never hear anyone else say it. And so when you're thinking this stuff and no one else says it, you kind of feel like, am I the only one who thinks this way? Is this even right? Am I just crazy or whatever? And then when you see someone on a big platform, speaking the things that you've always thought were wrong with society, that gave me the strength to be able to go out and speak those same things, because a lot of these things like free healthcare and all that stuff, it became more mainstream around that time. Before it was, people didn't really think about it. It wasn't the big conversation that it is now. Like people have bumper stickers that say Medicare for all now. People weren't saying abolish ICE 10 years ago, Even Black Matter, people only started saying that maybe 8 years ago. So it was that, and then it was the Charlottesville thing that happened that made me feel like I need to actually get out into the streets, because seeing that was just like, it's here. All the stuff that they've been talking about, it's here, and it was everywhere. And so I went out to San Francisco to a
Mr.
protest.
Robinson, I got this thing where it's in my mind. It's specifically in general. I know that's an oxymoron, but specifically in general, you seen what happened in Charlottesville that moved you. Specifically, it is here in Vacaville, but specifically in general, it's worldwide, not countrywide. So what specifically in Vacaville got you thinking and connected to Charlottesville?
It was all the racism. Like Vacaville is like, if you from Solano County, Vacaville as the racist place. It's just always been racist, and it's something that some people don't want to admit, but it has always been this way. It's always had police brutality. It's always had, we've always had unfair traffic stops. All of these, we've always had racist people in school calling us the N-word. All of these problems have always been in Vacaville.
Yeah, that's true. And I think I am the longest, one here in Vacaville, or to live in Vacaville, where I have family in Vacaville. And it always has been. It's always been one of those things where you understood that Vacaville is the racist city. It's been labeled that. So let me ask you this, Ravante, with you guys going out on Sundays and protesting, what is it that you guys are looking for? What is going to be the solution to your protests? What the things that you guys would like to see change?
So there's actually multiple groups that do work in Vacaville, but me specifically, the group that I work with, our main goal is defunding the police, just because we know that there are so many other problems like housing and healthcare, and a lot of crime comes from poverty, and it's even some of the inflated crime numbers are in impoverished areas because the police target those areas a lot more. And so you have a lot of people grow up with records that don't need to have them. And it's just because there's so much money is allotted into one part of the city that leaves a lot of other needs in the cities and communities unmet.
So let me ask you this also, because we've talked about, the three of us have kicked this around a lot. What does it mean to? I'm sorry, and well, you can shout out the name of the group. You name of your group if you want to, but
Solano Unity Network.
Solano what?
Solano Unity Network.
Solano
Also
Unity Network. Okay, make sure we write that down and remember that one. Solano Unity Network. I like that name. So what do you guys mean by defund the police? I know I'm very interested to get you guys' take on that.
So well, the police budget in Vacaville is over 40 million a year. And that's a lot of money. At the end of the day, there is crime in Vacaville, but I don't think it's $40 million worth of crime. And there's also the things that have come out over the past week. We've seen cops come in riot gear to protest with only 20 people. We've seen cops come in riot gear and arrest people at a houseless outreach event. And this is all after they didn't do anything when their windows were being broken. And so it's just kind of wasteful. It's a lot of wasteful spending, because that's a lot of overtime. That's a lot of gear. They have drones, all this different stuff, and they're not actually preventing crime.
No. And then you did actually say something at the beginning of you talking that I do like, was the overinflated crime in Vacaville, because it's Vacaville. We got to be honest. It's Vacaville. It's not, because I remember when they first got their SWAT team, and I was like, well, why you need a SWAT team in Vacaville? That's a Oakland, a Richmond. Vallejo probably needs a SWAT team, but Vacaville has always had a tendency to scare the population into believing that, we need this, because if we don't, those darkies will come and they'll come and take over everything. Smitty, you on mute, bruh. I gotta hear your comments. You on mute. Come on.
Bruh, I was going with not the darkies, man. You can't.
I'm saying. I know. That was my fault. It was a thing.
Hey, but I love. Hey, good brother Ravante. So speak on Solano Unity Network, man. I love the name, man. Because I think there's a narrative going around that's trying to assimilate and commingle Black Lives Matter, Antifa with cats that's trying to really do things and then shed a bad light. So, man, tell us what y'all really about. What y'all trying to get done other than defund the police? What is the goal? What's the results we're looking for?
Antifa's not a thing. I'm just saying, Antifa's not a thing. It really isn't.
Well, I'm just saying, the uneducated who get all of they info from Facebook want to use Antifa and blame Antifa for everybody and associate them with everybody.
Do,
so,
and it's not a thing.
Tell us what y'all about, what y'all trying to get done.
So Solano Unity Network, one of the things that we do the most is the houseless outreach. Every single Monday, we go out and we've been mostly going to Fairfield recently because they have at least 100 houseless people out there. And yeah, it's sad. I see new faces all the time. Mostly houseless outreach, trying to meet the needs of the people that the cities have failed at. It's also educating the people, coming to the council meetings and speaking on what the issues are, just so that more people know about it, because a lot of people are affected by these things, but just don't really know.
Yeah.
That's true. Ravante, let me ask you real quick. Have you reached out to others in the community to assist? with your efforts to help the homeless?
Yes, I have. We actually get volunteers every week. It's usually a couple people, like anywhere from 2 to 5 people will volunteer. But
And what
yeah,
about
That's good.
what about other organizations?
there are other organizations, especially Fairfield Change. They do a lot of houseless work. Um, yeah, we actually work kind of around Fairfield Change because they have a pretty good infrastructure, and they actually do a lot of houseless outreach. So we kind of go to places wherever they don't get to reach.
Good. At least you guys are
That's-
partnering with other organizations. That's always important.
Do you think honestly, good brother Ravante, that it's easy for the establishment to point fingers at organizations that are ran by Black people to help the unfortunate in the city? And I'm not just talking about houseless, I'm talking about low income, I'm talking about anybody affected who don't live above the poverty line. Do you think it's easier for the establishment to point fingers at y'all and not at, let's say, the privileged people that go out there and help? Because I don't hear about anybody harassing, tackling, tasing, spray paint, or arresting white folks who be out there helping homeless.
Yeah, the sad thing about it is that it seems like it's only okay for, especially in Vacaville, it seems like it's only okay for the churches to do the houseless
Oh
stuff.
wow, that's a different spin on it.
Nonprofit.
So
Nonprofit.
yeah.
They get money, they get stipends from the government. So they're gonna paint a pretty picture on them, but they want to target and scapegoat young brothers like Ravante, who's really trying to give back to his own community. Man, I
And
hope
then
you're
we got-
listening, Mayor, whoever you are, and
Yeah.
whoever the chief is, and
Well, you know what though? You have to look at the big picture. Like Ravante said, churches. Think about it. The biggest church we have here in Vacaville is Opportunity House.
Yeah.
Opportunity House is a nonprofit.
Hmm?
And at the same time, we can throw a lot of dirt his way because they are making a profit.
Mhm.
You know, the pastor of that church is living in a house tax-free. Well, the rest of the citizens here have to work and pay taxes.
Well, okay. With taxes is a different thing.
Hey Ravante, how can the
It's
people
still
help
a
you,
business.
man? How can normal people like us help you and your group, man, to fight the good fight?
First and foremost, follow us, Solano Unity Network, Facebook and Instagram. Other things that you can do is you can donate. That we always need funds because we're not like the Father's House or any people who have a lot of funding. Volunteer. We do outreach every Monday, and spreading the word because there's people who just don't know, and people being informed. There's a lot of people who would be involved, but they just they haven't been reached yet.
Mhm. Mhm. Have you guys
There
thought
is
about
one
going
thing.
nonprofit?
I'm sorry. One of
Um,
y'all, go ahead.
I'm still a little bit weary of doing a nonprofit just because the reputation that some of them have, and I've seen too many poverty pimps, as I would call them, people who are supposed to be doing a service to the community, but they end up riding around in a BMW every year, you know.
That's a body blow right to every pastor. I'd be on y'all. They're body blow.
Poverty pimps. I like
Poverty
that.
pimps. That's what the pastor.
And you know, because we are the third show, because we are undivided, I do have to ask this question. Because I've been thinking about it. Ravante, ever so often I get on social media. I seen a post you put out there. And I started doing research on it. And I wanted to know, how did you come about the information on a Vacaville detective that created chaos Okay.
Want to be Meek Mill.
Kenny Meek Mill.
But the fun, hold on, before you answer that, the real cool part about that was Ravante's statement had Nolan put out a statement to
Yes.
defend itself. But and so it was put out there. Once again, you're starting conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And you're giving, you know, even though it may not seem like, but you are giving people a reason to stand up and speak for themselves. And it was important that Nolan actually went up and talked. Well, he put out his Facebook post because, you know, they're drawing lines all of a sudden within, how you like to say, when you start doing something right, Smitty, they start to tear you down.
Oh, you know it.
And they
Yep.
start to tear, and they see what the city council is at least trying to do. They're not there yet, but we know they're trying to do something. And then here you come with this Vacaville police officer who hands out, hey, this is what y'all supposed to say. Need y'all to say today.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
need everybody to say this today so we can get this going. And then all of a sudden, you know, there's an uproar. But I'm sorry, go ahead, Ravante.
Yeah. I best believe I enjoyed the post. I really enjoyed the post. After reading it, I sat back and chuckled because I'm like, this is what we need. People who aren't scared to put this information out there.
Yeah.
So a funny little tidbit about this story. We actually put it up on Instagram 2 times, and it got removed for for bullying and harassment.
Quit playing. You
Yes.
bullying the police officer?
That's irony, right? That's the definition
hilarious.
of irony right there.
That's funny.
Hypocrisy and
But,
irony, man. That's crazy. So Ravante, before we let you go, man, because we got another
Hold
part.
on, I gotta hear the story. Let him finish the story.
Oh, my bad. I was gonna go ahead, dog. Kill it.
Jeez.
So I'm in a group with some people. I'm not going to say their names because I don't want to put them at risk. But they're close with people around the city, and so they see their things pop up and they screenshot them. And then after I got that screenshot, I started looking up the officer's name and then just pulled together everything that came up. And put all the pieces together, and then just put out that statement and put all those pictures together on a all the good screenshots together on a post and put it out there.
That's fun.
That's
good stuff.
That is.
No, but I mean, that's important because we don't want to keep, when we keep saying that, hey, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, and they're doing that. It's always good to bring up facts. We don't speak a lot in emotion and hyperbole. We speak in facts. So now if people say, well, you know, there's Vacaville police corruption. Well, is there? Well, yeah, look at this. You have Vacaville police going up against city council. That don't say nothing to nobody. That's still cool. You know, that's not a big deal.
So I got two things real quick. One is, good brother Ravante, as OGs, you know, we'd be remiss if we didn't really like try to.
I'm calling me old.
We're not Martin Luther King Kumbaya. Don't get it twisted. That's not what we are. But we understand some of the basis of that. If you can, in this city or any other city, fully defund the police, where's your meeting ground? Because again, at some point in time, when they come to our table, because understand, we're never going to their table. They're coming to our table. So when they come to our table, we have to have a meeting ground. What are you willing to compromise when it comes to law enforcement?
Whew, that's a tough one. That's really especially tough for me because I'm still I'm pretty much ACAB at this point, just because, you know, when you protest, you deal with cops all the time, and the more interactions you have with them, the worse it gets. So that's a difficult one for me.
Oh, that is a struggle. Look at that.
Man,
He
Yeah,
thinking,
that's the
thinking.
struggle. Hey,
You know,
Ravante,
hold on,
just so
hold
you
on.
know, no, I want him to answer it, but
Yeah.
just so you know, you're not the only one, and both my brothers know. For the longest, I used to be just completely against cops.
F the police.
Yes, that was him.
That was him.
Yes. That all day, every day.
So
Police F them.
yeah, so I
Shannon,
do,
yeah.
so I do feel your struggle, and I think as time goes by, as we get older, we start to see things differently. And I don't know if you heard me say, not all cops are good cops. We know this. We have bad seeds in every facet of life. It's about how do we get rid of those that mean us no good or mean us ill harm. And keep in mind, a cop is nothing more than someone who is there to enforce code. City code, that's it. They're not the law, just city code. So with
Okay.
that being said, yeah, so with that being said,
I'm gonna give you my take, and then you can answer the question, because the label of defund the police is what I've always had a problem with, because that doesn't sound plausible. You cannot defund. We need the police. We need them to be better. And you're right, Vacaville doesn't have $40 million problems. I don't care what they say. Because you look at their police log, that's not a $40 million police log.
They don't have $40 problems.
They're worse. Their problems. I'd say Fairfield got Karen problems. Vacaville don't even have Karen problems.
but you know what? They can use that 40 million that they do get, and they can pay for their own police station to be repaired. Because as they told us, that bill was about 36 million. So
$36 million for
Thousand,
what?
dog. 36,000.
They said 1,000. Calm it down.
Yeah.
See, that's the problem right there.
See,
That's what
Ravante?
happened. You see what we got to deal with?
That's
That
it.
dude right there, all of a sudden threw out $37 million. Like now they want to buy the block.
but you know what? Keep in mind now, Vacaville has a tech, and that costs money to upkeep.
That it does, and I don't understand why they got a tank. But whatever. That's they got to ram through a meth heads.
How
every
long,
once in a while.
Brother Ravante, do you plan to continue you guys' protests if that's what you plan to do? How long? And then at what point will you say, okay, we're willing to talk now?
So funny thing that you asked that. So we actually were going to have a protest tomorrow, but a city official reached out to us and wanted to bring us to the table and talk and see what we want to do. And so we're actually canceling tomorrow's protest that we were going to do, and we're going to take that meeting to use that opportunity to see how serious they are about the changes. And if we can actually get any type of change, it's what we wanted to do. It's what we wanted the outcome of the protest to be.
Yes. And
Hey,
remember,
bruh.
when you go,
Hey.
congratulations.
Hey, man, I love you. I love it. I love your organization. You know what? Go do what you got to do. But at the same time, don't give in. Don't go in there with something and make sure you get somewhere close to that bar, bruh.
Make sure you do that. Also, remember that nothing happens in one day.
Yeah, true.
Nothing. So the changes that you're going to ask for, the changes that you're demanding and should get, make sure. This is one thing about when you're dealing with politicians, is that they're going to
put
say
that game out there. Don't put our game out there. Don't put our game out there. We can tell him that off camera. We can tell him off show. We can tell him off show.
Let the educated politician himself speak, okay?
Man, I don't think. Just hear me out on this one. When you go to talk to, and this is for everybody.
Okay.
And this one's for everybody.
All right.
Make sure you keep this for yourself too.
When you talk to a city official or
don't mention Shannon's name.
Number one, don't say you know that dude. Just say you're a part of the you were just on the show. Don't say you know him. You have to remember to hold them to it.
Devontae,
Because
wait, hold on. No, stop it.
You didn't got offended.
I ain't get offended. I'm gonna keep it real.
Why
Ravante,
is it when I want to make a good point? You know what, Ravante? I'll call you later, bro.
Save your point. Save your point. Ravante,
Go ahead.
both Troy and Smitty can tell you, our shows have gotten to a point to where we have called people out. And them people that we call out, who gets the phone call? Thank you. Thank you.
For some reason, we don't know why, but they call that dude.
They like the polite way Shannon cusses their ass out. That's what it is.
That's what it is. Well, they get confused because they consider light-skinned dudes who are supposed to be the affable ones. Exactly. But then they can. Why is Troy and Smitty so militant?
Right.
That's usually saved for the dark-skinned guys. Right. So they get thrown off. They don't know how to approach us.
Hey, but real talk, Ravante, it was super dynamite having you on here. I respect the work you are doing. I like Troy mentioned in the beginning. I remember the first time I met you was out there at City Hall just by a fluke. I showed up. You allowed me to speak real quick. I respect that. I respect what you guys are doing. I respect your organization. Keep up the good fight, bro. Remember this. It's always going to take multiple avenues to get to the same destination. We all can't travel in the same lane. You know what I'm saying? It's just too congested. We need folks over here. We need folks over here. We need folks over there. You know, if you need anything, man, you know how to contact me anytime, any place. You know, we can get down and do it. All right. So good luck to you all tomorrow, bro.
Yeah. All right, man. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks, man. Take it easy.
All right. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for having me on. I appreciate y'all.
Oh, no problem, man. No problem. There you go.
Hey.
Well, that was fun.
Devontae Robinson just showing up for Solano County.
For Solano Unity Network.
I want to thank Troy and Shannon for mentioning or, you know, moving this forward, because if you guys watch our shows, you'll see that he's the first person on the other side that has been on our show. You know, we've been dealing with politicians, wannabe politicians, other people, but this was our first time having the voice of the people, the real voice of the people, not the one running to get your support, but the voice of the people on here. So, you know, brothers and men, I thank y'all for that. I think that was powerful. I think it was overdue.
It was good.
And I hope the cast that's listening and watching this understand what he's saying. You have to, one, like Troy mentioned, you have to be man enough and strong enough to stand up and actually do something. Yep. That's going to force people to talk. And then once you do that, now you're actually out there making a change. You're doing something, you know. But he's so powerful. And this is what Shannon talked about this at the meeting the other night. You have a certain group of people who want to, without even knowing, they didn't even do homework. They didn't even do research. They just got fed a bunch of stories and they ran with them because it sounded good.
Yeah.
And that's how problems start. If you don't have both sides of the fence, you don't have both sides of the stories on, you are a fool. You are a fool.
Yeah. No, it's facts though. They run around, and as long as somebody tells them what they want to hear, whether it's true or not, they're gonna run with it.
Well,
you know, and they become sheeple.
I agree with you, Troy. And me and Smitty had this talk, and I think with everybody in our community, everybody, not just Vacaville, but across the community, you go to these city hall meetings, you complain, you want to point the finger. Instead of pointing the finger, take a look at your own faults. Start accepting accountability for what you're doing wrong and start fixing that. And then maybe this community will get better. Stop trying to point the blame at this city council person, that person, or the police department. Start looking at your own fault Start coming up
Right.
with solutions instead of blaming. We
And
all
yeah,
have to come up with a better way of doing things. And our city council meeting that we just went to, 3 hours of nonsense. You know, and I'll go back and forth and say, yeah, you want to put the blame on Vice Mayor Sullivan? You want to say this and say that? I will say this. Not one damn time when we had pro-Trump supporters in the park running black people off the road here, did you jump up and complain about that? So
mhm.
before you go pointing a finger, start looking at your own self. If you feel that there's a problem with what's going on, you part of the problem.
You
And
know
you
what
need
the-
to correct what's wrong with you.
there's a rapper who came out with a song, and he said two things that were really powerful to me. One of them was, and I'm paraphrasing, but one of them was, to want to change racism, you have to want to change racism. That one got me. I was like, what? And he's this little white dude. He's dope though. And the other one was, if it
Microaggression.
wasn't,
That was a microaggression right there. bro.
man, right?
Man.
To want to change racism, you have to want to change racism.
No, I'm talking about, you said he was a little white dude, but he was dope.
He was dope. It was a shot,
Microaggression.
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
But he was dope. But you know how let's not get into hip hop right now
No.
because Shannon will get left out.
Yeah.
But
No,
but the other
see,
thing
and
that he
that just
said,
goes to show how old you
Can I
really are.
finish?
Oh man.
can I finish? Can I finish? See, look, don't start. I go back to third base.
Kick it.
I go back to the Beasties. So don't. You know, you
Yo,
don't want
you
that
know what
smoke.
though? Most of our viewers don't even know who the Beastie Boys was. Okay.
No.
Most of our
So,
viewers do know who the Beastie Boys
I
are.
wanna keep, you know, we
Wait. Hold on. I got the second thing. Damn. Y'all being extra aggressive towards me today.
Your ass too damn long-winded. I said
Y'all been you just sitting there and pontificated and got all emotional earlier.
You
and
want some,
Smitty
you
had
want
to
some
cut
cheese
you
with that
off.
wine?
Damn, Jesus.
he feeling his
Anyway.
inner self. Get out your left nipple.
Wow. Do we have
That's
to talk about the school so you can have a good cry?
Hey,
Don't mess
so
with me.
No.
what
So
I
the
really
hold on,
want to
wait. The
touch on-
second thing, hold on, wait. The second thing, and which was really important, was he said that if it wasn't for the pandemic, Trump would have won in a landslide. And that was something for everybody who's looking at this, that's kind of true.
Hey, real
Kind of
talk.
true, real talk. It's kind of true. And to piggyback on what Shannon was saying, because we have to really participate in what we're complaining about. And even if you're not complaining about it in public, if you're sitting at home yelling at your wife about it and talking to your fellas over a beer and whatever, get involved, do something, make things happen. It was the most votes ever cast in a presidential election. And I guarantee you, if you go back and do the numbers, most of those votes were by women. That's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a huge problem. Men, brothers, we have to get up and get involved in our communities.
So I would like to play devil's advocate about the defund the police and this, that, and the
Please.
third. For all transparency,
Mhm.
I'm not with fully defunding the police. I'm with reform. They need to be reformed. That needs to happen.
Reform.
To good brother Ravante's point, 40 million. Come on now, that's just the policy, the codes, the police bill of rights, all of those things need to be reformed, reviewed, the whole thing. But I will say this: the reason I'm not fully defund the police is because, in full transparency, some of y'all need the police. Some folks need that. There's all transparency. White folks, black folks, Latinos, Asians, some of y'all just don't know how to behave. I got old family members who are black who run the gamut. Sometimes I wish they catch a case because they need to go
Because they need to be
sit
locked
down for a
up.
minute.
Yeah,
That's real.
they just
That's
need to
real.
sit down. Sometimes you
down.
need to be locked up just to sit down for a minute.
Sit down for a minute, get your mind right. You know what I'm saying? So, but I want to say this: the my point earlier, the specifically in general, all the stuff we've been building on has been around Solano County. But we've done stuff with people in on the other side of the country. We've done some stuff with some folks down in LA. And I want everyone to know, if you have something going on in your neighborhood, you know some people who's out doing things, feeding the shelter, supplying whatever it is, whatever. Feel free to
Support them.
get them on this show, because
Yeah.
we need to be more than just Solano. We need to be more than just Fairfield, Vacaville. These things are specifically generalized. They're across the country. Chicago, Missouri,
Man, New
wherever,
York, St.
you
Louis,
see,
everywhere. Yeah.
you heard the good brother Ravante say what motivated him was way in Charlottesville. That's
Yeah.
way on the other side of the country. So there's things happening now that we really need to expand on and bring a broader light on, because that's what we do. We're just three cats in this little city, but we're powerful. We're powerful with our words and how we deliver the message. And I ain't got nothing but praise for you cats. And like I said, I'm so juiced because Ravante was on here. We get somebody from the other side. We're not just talking to politicians. We're talking.
We talked there. I mean, next week I think we're gonna have on Cam to give another sort of perspective from the other side. So we're gonna keep this going. If you know somebody who want to be on the show, give us a holler. We ain't that.
And then just to give everybody a feel, I'll reach out to my boy back home. He's doing big things in the community back there. I'll reach out, see if he has time to join us. So we'll have to probably do our show. I'm talking about back in Milwaukee.
Hey, okay. And then again, I'm a real cat. You can get mad at me if you want to, and I'm gonna probably lose some more cats tonight, and it's cool. But during the city council meeting in Vacaville the other night, Shannon can attest to this. During the city council meeting in Vacaville, the police, law enforcement, whoever you want to call them, shot and killed a man in his car while he was trying to get away.
Yeah.
Now, before you jump to conclusions, it was an adult white male. They blasted on him. All right. White folks ain't burning shit. They ain't
discriminating. Yeah.
They ain't protesting. They ain't doing nothing. Now, I don't know why that is. I just want to put it out there that shit, they shoot everybody.
Yes. They're trying to get some serious numbers right now.
They shooting everybody.
And once again, and that's something that we can see as well. Why aren't people protesting? Well, protest. Get up and say something. You don't like it.
Absolutely.
You put everything else on Facebook.
You know what? Yeah, but you know what? I find that kind of funny too, because I understand the Black cause. I understand the struggle. We understand what the cause is really about. I ain't heard one comment about this white man who was shot and murdered. Not even shot, just murdered. Plain out, right out murder.
That's Sonic. And how you get blasted at Sonic?
In Vacaville of all spots.
Yeah, but yet here in Smith, I have to agree with you. There are certain people here who do need the police. Whether you want to admit it or not, you do need them. Now, I ain't going to tell you, I ain't going to sit up here and lie to you. I'm going to keep it honest with you, 100. I ain't calling their ass for nothing. So don't call them on me, and I ain't going to call them because I don't have nothing to say to them.
Because once again, there's that line of who we all know and love that some of y'all need to be locked up.
Some of y'all y'all think doing wrong.
Some of y'all do some stuff. So yeah, so you're right. It's not a matter of defunding the police. That's just ridiculous. When I first heard that, I'm like, Democrats, what? Who stupid in the corner got cornered and had to say something real quick, and that's the best they can come up with.
Right.
Needs to be fired.
Yeah.
Because that term gives so much fuel to something that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
It fuels ignorance because we cannot defund the police. That's ridiculous. Can we reform? Yes. Does there need to be reform? Oh, yes. Does there need to be policies put in place that help the police function better? Oh, yes. And it's
So I
not,
challenge
hold on,
both.
hold on. And in all fairness, it's not just Vacaville, excuse me, that is over, that needs to change their 40-minute, put a real price tag on their problems. I got a message earlier today. Seattle actually put it in place. They redoing the police budget, so they have a surplus of $30 million for their city.
I thought that was Portland.
No, was it Portland? Oh, I thought it was Seattle.
It was Portland. So
Okay.
I challenge my two good brothers tonight, because of where we're trying to go with what we're doing. I challenge you right now with 30 seconds apiece, because I know we're running up against it. 30 seconds apiece. If you had it your way, and we're talking solutions, if we had it your way, and we're going to keep it solely focused on the community service employees, aka the cops, what would you change? What's the first thing you change? And don't tell me the budget, because I think we all agree on that.
Yeah.
But what's the first thing you change?
Sean, you want to go first?
Yeah, I can take that one.
Because I'm long-winded. I might, run over.
You long-winded. First thing I would change would be, honestly, straight off the back, hiring practices. I would change the hiring practices. I would change up the qualifications. I would require college degrees, diversity training, and then I would also look at people in the community and then who grew up in that community to become law enforcement officers in that community. Another thing, and I know people are against it, ex-military would not be allowed. And honestly, I don't care how much training you go through or how many psychs you see, you still suffer with PTSD. So
that's 30 seconds, Shannon. And I what I do applaud about Shannon, he has been committed that ex-military should not be police. He's been saying that since day one. So yes. I know he's serious about that. Troy, you got 30 seconds.
Okay. So I differ with Shannon on the ex-military thing. I think you can, but that's a problem for the government of why they should be. I do believe that if a police officer has any sort of incidents on his record of brutality, of excessive violence, there should be mandatory psych evaluations. I do monthly. You need to go sit down on somebody's couch monthly to figure out why you got to beat up somebody just because you got a damn badge. I do believe in walking a beat. And that is something that they get around. Even if you're not from the city in which you work, you still need to get out there and understand the city that you're working in. And not just going home wherever you live. You got to understand who you're working for. I do believe in accountability. If something happens, if a cop does something to somebody, he's not the only one that should be held accountable. So should his sergeant and his captain and the chief on up. Let the problems trickle up for once to protect some officers, because sometimes they only do what they're told.
That's 30 seconds, and I appreciate that. And I want to say I can take from good brother Shannon that I think a degree is needed. And then from good brother Troy, I appreciate the fact that they should walk the beat. If I had the opportunity, the first thing I would change is the name of the police, because it brings so much negative. It just the history of the name, the word police is, we're never going to get around anything as long as we have to use. It's just like calling someone master. We got to let that word go. So I would change that. And I don't care what the city council wants to name it, but it has to get away from police, and I think to anybody watching now, to our critics, whoever, to say all we do is rant and rave, we just provided solutions, 3 different opinions on solutions with law enforcement. So take that. That's our start. Take that. That's our start.
Yeah. No, and that's true.
And you know what? And I think my brothers will agree with me on this. Before we do end this show, everybody in Solano County, not just Vacaville, before you go to make a complaint about somebody, look at yourself and find out why you're really complaining about that person. Because when you start to do that, you'll see that what you're complaining about is really a problem you got with your own self.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Yeah. You know what? And I want to agree with Shannon too, because when you first said it, I don't know completely agree with the having a degree, but I do agree with the idea of it should take you longer to become a police officer than it took my daughter to be a beautician.
Facts.
You know, because then that gives them a few more classes that they need to take. One of them should be ethnic studies. So they actually get, because a lot of these guys come straight out of high school. And school board, I said that y'all was coming up. I did say, we don't have the time today, but school board, and when I say school board, mind you, it's not just the local ones, people. We going all the way up to the higher learning, to that Ivy League, that Ivy League community.
Tony Thurman, I'm coming for you.
Ooh, we're gonna have
Let's leave.
conversations.
Nobody's safe.
Nobody.
From elementary all the way up. Nobody's safe.
Hey, before we get
from
out,
elementary, from chewing gum to a doctorate.
But before we get out, I got to just double down on what good brother Shannon said about when you hear something and you want to hurry up and get out and jump on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or whatever and just come up with the most vile response, belittling response you can. To his point, yeah, you probably need to check yourself because some of that stuff is because of your own problems.
Yeah.
But before you do that, get your facts right.
Do some research. Take your time.
Man, just use your thumbs before you put out an emoji and read.
Denzel Washington was on a red carpet and he said that right now media is more concerned with being first than being correct.
Hey, again, I go back. I'm a football coach at heart. I coach 8-year-olds. The first thing I tell them on defense is this: I don't need you to be first. I just need you to be right. So when you hit that A gap, you better be right when you hit that A gap. Don't just run in the A gap because I'm telling you to go in the A gap. Understand the play and then be there. You don't have to be first. You just have to be right.
You have to be right. And that's what a person, we have a lot of people who get on social media who just want to, just be the first one to say something or be the first one in the know instead of being correct. Exactly. Instead of just saying, hold on, let me step back and see what is going on before I start mouthing off. And when they do, most of them, when they do start mouthing off, they're with these solid opinions and this is it and this and that, and they pontificate for, and I'm like, y'all really? Y'all really? But no one even checked the fact to see if you got the dude name right.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just the basics. Take your time. Like Shannon said, do some self-reflection before you put some stuff out there.
Talk to your mom.
Yeah, call your mama up.
Call your mama.
And if you really want to say something so bad, honestly, and this is because me and my brother Smitty and my brother Troy, we go to these city council meetings. And I really don't want to ever sit in another meeting to hear people bicker like that. Yeah. So if you have something that bad you want to say, go look at yourself and argue with yourself.
Matter of fact, film it, record it. Record yourself with that point. Put it out there.
You film everything else.
Facts, please. You got enough cat videos up there and your dog, and you messing up on them busted videos when you really ain't got nothing to bust.
Hey, now we're doing exactly what we tell people not to do. We complaining.
No, we're not complaining. We're having a conversation.
Oh, okay.
There's a difference. Because we're giving them solutions.
Right.
We're giving solutions. Take your time. Right. We want to hear it. I want to hear it.
Hey, I can say before we go, I think it's important that we acknowledge the good brother Shannon again. Like I tell y'all folks, y'all don't know who y'all dealing with if you ain't dealing with Mr. Shannon. Shannon, and tell me to stop when I need to, bro. But I want people to know who we deal with and what kind of circle we are. You know, Shannon had a chance to take a job at Stanford. That's right, fools, Stanford.
Yeah.
So stop judging people. All right. Shannon turned down, that's how kind of that's what kind of power he got. Shannon turned down Stanford. You ain't even you don't even know where Stanford is. Shannon turned down Stanford.
Let
All right.
alone.
All
Well,
right. And so
and
now he got some bigger and better things going. He is the man. I'm telling y'all, he is the man. He got accepted. And from my understanding, you know, he got accepted into Stanford's, not Stanford, Sacramento State's business or something that, you know, Mr. Brainiac himself up there with a silver spoon in his mouth can't even get into. And they offered it to my boy Shannon. So
yes.
take that with you. Understand, we just ain't three cats just talking out the side of our ass. We got the modern day W.E.B. Du Bois with us. Boy, gone.
Well, that was heavy.
Respect, bro. Respect, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you.
Not bad.
And,
Not
and
bad.
and you know what? And I can tell you, it's one thing to apply and get into Stanford, but to be offered a position to go do what you're already passionate about, that's something else.
Yeah.
I chose to stay where I am because this is where my grounding is. This is where my family is. At the end of the day, to all our people, to all our viewers, you only know us because you see us on here. Most of us, most of you that know me, some of you work with me. Some of you may work with my brother Smitty. Some of you may work with my brother Troy. But to really get to know us, you'll know that we're about business. We're about doing what needs to be done and about staying focused and getting the cause. It's all about the cause at the end of the day. I can't keep implying it enough. And a lot of you guys don't even know what the cause is. You just out here, they don't. I mean, I get so tired about it. I hear all these people running around, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, you know, and it gets to me so bad because if that's what we're really about and we're really concerned with, then we have to come to a point to where we wake up to realization. It shouldn't be black on black or black on brown. It shouldn't be anybody on anybody. I said it before, hate ain't going nowhere. Racism isn't going nowhere.
No.
But somehow you're gonna have to figure it out in your head that you need to live next door to this person. You don't like him, he don't like you. Y'all need to be able to communicate and go y'all separate way. End of story.
Facts. End of story. You know, it's. I was looking at. I think it was on Facebook, and there was a picture, and it said, "This is what something like this is what racism is," and it had 3 eggs. It had a dark brown egg, and it had the light brown egg, and then it had a white egg on top, and then somebody had cracked them open and put them in the pan, and it was just some yolks and this 3 certain. And so, and that, if you think about it, the only thing that means on the outside we may be a different color, but who we are on the inside is what really matters. And you go back to what Martin Luther King said: "I'm going to judge you on your character. I want to judge you on who you are, because we love how you put it, Shannon. Just because you look like us don't make you for us.
You ain't one of us. Just
You
because
ain't
you're the
one of
same
us."
skin tone.
You get the
I
uppercuts,
don't care.
Smith. You can get these. So, but it is.
Man, Troy, just let the public know. Because my favorite word, we have people that look like us,
Yeah.
but don't mistake them for us because a lot of them are lost.
Yes. Yes. And that's fine. And not to say that we are the way, how Smitty had said it earlier. We all are trying to go in the same direction, but we all can't follow the same path. That's just how it is. We all have a goal. Figure out though your cause though, because that's important. Because we came together organically on. It ain't about the cause. It's not about your position. It's about the cause. Your position doesn't matter, because we've seen a lot of people with a lot of positions who don't do a lot of things. you know. So, and we
Hey,
just,
before we go down that rabbit hole, Troy, take us home, man. We
I
gonna
am.
go down that trap.
Take us home.
well, no, actually, I wasn't even going down there. I was actually getting ready to quote you again.
Oh,
You are my quotable for the day. Both
right.
of you. I think I quoted both of you a lot today, which I usually don't do because most of the time it ain't worth it. But much love always. Thank you guys for hanging out with me and my brothers, my man Smitty, Shannon. We want to thank Ravante Robinson for coming out and hanging out with Solano. He's with Solano Unity Network. Go on to his Instagram and Facebook page. Check them out. He may be yelling about some stuff that you don't like, but his actions and what he's doing need to get done. I can say that.
Yep.
But hey, check us out. Make sure you like us and follow us on Facebook and on YouTube. Do we have an Instagram page?
Yes, we do.
Get at us on Instagram.
I got well, I'll get it. I'll make
That was
I'll
a
make
matter
our
of fact.
Instagram page go live.
We everywhere.
Yes.
Yes, but hey, y'all, thank you for hanging out once again. If you
Hey,
know
y'all
something,
be well.
let us know. If you want us to talk about something, if you want to be on the show, hit us up. We're nice people for the most part. Thank y'all for hanging out. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.